Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy Golden Falls, Golden What If, whatever you want to call me. And I'm back with What If Deku Learned Moon Breathing Part 2. I know it's been a minute. I mean, it hasn't been too long. It's been maybe 4 days, something like that. But I've been also working on other What Ifs as well. And I feel like all y'all know that I've been trying to commit more variety to the channel, so I'm sure most of you aren't too mad about it. But yeah, I'm finally here, I'm finally back, and we are finally ready for part 2 of What If Deku Learned Moon Breathing. And if you enjoy, make sure to leave a like, sub, and comment down below any suggestions you have for future What Ifs, being if that's My Hero Academia, if that's Shield Hero, if that's Demon Slayer, and maybe even Naruto. I'm still debating with the fact of me doing Naruto, but that's beyond the point. So I'm not gonna waste any more of your time, and let's get right into the What If. Let's get it. Izuku Midoriya finally has the means of getting stronger. He felt stagnant and well in place for a long time, and he decided that he'd just try out for a regular hero school, something that, well, some school that isn't very popular by any means. So he does just that. He's able to get in with relative ease, being that these other hero schools don't have these amazing prospects like how UA does, or even Shuketsu High does. But that's beyond the point. Izuku just wants to learn, get better, and then eventually can put himself in the ranks of those higher ups, those higher up in terms of students. He knows that he can do it with the help of, well, moon breathing. One night he begins searching for the books on moon breathing, and he eventually finds them, bringing him back to his, well, current master. Gozen is shocked to find that, well, Izuku has the means of using a breathing style, one that their ancestors would have used a long time ago. And it's not only just a breathing style, it's moon breathing. The breathing of what, well, legend says that the last person that had it was a demon, someone unholy, someone that was trying to seek out godhood via the death of, well, what he believed to be the samurais. But that's beyond the point. It seems like Izuku has found his way, and has found the way to, well, absolute power in this society. He found his way to gain this power, and he begins training as soon as possible. Throughout this time, Izuku began to, well, go to classes and do normal hero stuff or hero school stuff, which wasn't anything insane by any means. Actually, he felt like it was detrimental that he was even going to this hero school, but he wasn't going to complain. He had to go somewhere in the meantime while he learned this moon breathing. And actually, during one of the night's training sessions, Kokushibo, well, showed up. He appeared in front of Izuku and began explaining the act of concentration breathing, the act that, well, is crucial to using moon breathing. The breath of, well, the moon and breathing styles derive from this concentration breathing that is used by many swordsmen. This breathing will allow you to do unhuman-like things, and, well, it can transcend the human body. Certain breathings will allow a sick man to dance through the freezing cold, will allow a human to go head to head with a rhinoceros. Certain breathings will allow a demon and a human to go head to head on equal footing. And Kokushibo makes this very apparent, that the first thing he needs to learn is this breathing. And once he does, he can truly learn the art of moon breathing. So the long and arduous process begins, but Izuku obviously seems like he's getting a hold of it quicker than anybody has ever thought. Anybody who would try to do moon breathing like this would struggle immensely. And don't get me wrong, Izuku is struggling, but his resolve is bigger, better than anybody else's. And he begins to pick up on moon breathing relatively quickly, learning some of actually the forms only months after the beginning of his training, learning the first 3 forms. First form, Dark Moon Evening Palace. Second form, Pearl Flower Moon Gazing. And third form, Loathsome Moon Chains. And well, these sword styles are extremely difficult, especially with the fact that they're based around a Kokoshibo who was more or less a demon at the time. But even with that said, these first couple breathing styles aren't too insane in terms of the stress on his body. It's really when he gets down to the ones that are deeper into the playbook. We're talking the 14th, the 16th forms is where Kokoshibo even says that Izuku may never be able to learn them because of the restrictions on his body. But Izuku says that's just fine, that this concentration breathing, training alone has helped him tremendously, that it's upped his stamina, upped his strength, upped his, concentration, upped his intelligence, everything you can think of. Concentration breathing has been a huge help, and Izuku feels that he is strong enough to do many things. And eventually this leads to a test at his hero school. They have basically grades, tier 3, tier 2, and tier 1. Think of UA as a tier 1 hero high school by every means of the imagination. Basically, you could call UA as a tier 1 A tier type of high school. But what he's in is more of like a low tier 3 type of hero high school. But with the proper lessons and the proper teachings and the proper tests, he can upgrade in the schools. And this is pretty blatantly obvious. Transfers are not of the abnormal, and it wouldn't be too far-fetched to think that Izuku could climb through the ranks of high schools, kind of like some sports athlete that would want to, head into a better high school after sharpening his skills playing football or basketball. Just like that, hero schools work very similar. And once Izuku begins sharpening his skills and actually passes the test flawlessly, especially using his moon breathing, he's able to step up to that tier 2 level of a high school, which is still not on the level of UA by any means of the imagination, but it definitely helps him in terms of getting, agency call-ups. And eventually, he actually gets one from a lower tier hero. And this hero's name is Manuel. Manuel is a very unknown hero. He's basically called the normal hero Manuel. He isn't known by many people, but he does have good experience in terms of hero work. And luckily Izuku can get just that. Manuel can show him the ropes, show him how to, properly patrol and things like that. At least Izuku believes this to be beneficial. And maybe this would be his way back up to, maybe even UA or a high tier school. And Izuku would be right. This would be a good way to start. And one day he begins his patrols. But Manuel says that he actually got a surprise, that someone from UA will actually be joining them. And that is, Tenya Ida. Ingenium's brother is going to join them. They all eventually will meet up, and they begin to patrol in Hosu City. But the problem is, Izuku can sense something. He can see in Ida's eyes desperation, fear, anger, everything he's felt before. He's felt all of it. At one point, he felt useless. At another, he felt desperate. At another, he felt anger at the limitations he had. But what Ida is showing is a different type of anger. A different anger that Izuku personally may have never felt. Because his anger isn't based on someone that he's lost. His anger is based on his own shortcomings. This is different. Ida is ready to take someone's life, and Izuku can see that blatantly. His senses are going crazy in terms of Ida, eventually leading to the Hosu City attack. multiple Nomus appear, and Izuku helps basically evacuate people as quickly as possible, but he then sees Ida run away, basically going to a certain area, but this place seemed like he knew someone would be there. Izuku helps as many people as possible, and Manuel begins saying that he doesn't know where Ida went, but Izuku says that he does. He dashes away faster than really Manuel can even keep up, and Manuel sighs, thinking that he took on two people that he really can't control because he, well, isn't strong enough. Izuku then finally makes it to an alleyway, and there he is. Tenya Ida, face down on the ground with the blade of the hero killer hovering above him. Izuku walks toward the hero killer and begins speaking. You know, he's just a kid. He's made mistakes, correct? Everyone has. Maybe give him one more chance. The hero killer looks at the boy and asks who does he think he is. Well, if you really want to know my name, it's Izuku Midoriya. But that doesn't really matter to you, right? I know you kill, well, fake heroes. The boy is no fake hero, he's a hero in training. Meaning he is no hero. You got that right. He is no hero. Have you seen what he was trying to do? Not very heroic. I understand that. But please allow him to repent. Maybe give him another chance. Give him another chance. See, you're spoken like a real hero. A hero that wants to save and reform people. I like you. I can see the struggle in your eyes, kid. But unfortunately, that can't happen. Stain goes to stab Ida through the back, but Izuku dashes in and blocks it, kicking him away. Damn, I didn't want to have to resort to this, but I guess I haven't fought someone with a sword in a while. I mean, outside my master. A swordsman! Now this is gonna be interesting. Let's see what you got, kid. Izuku begins to breathe deep, and his breath begins to show through the air, and an aura begins to be revealed around him. Izuku dashes in and clashes with Stain, and his speed is almost reminiscent to what Stain was able to, well, do himself. It's actually very similar. Their speed and agility and everything seems so similar, and Izuku isn't budging. His sword will not fall out of his hand, and well, that's frankly because of his quirk, but Stain doesn't know that. He thinks that whatever he's doing right now is obviously his quirk, but Izuku can keep up with Stain. One of the more, well, or one of the best tacticians in terms of fighting, and he's not even using his forms yet. Izuku then backs up and, well, proceeds to quickly draw his sword once again, slashing swiftly in a more horizontal motion, but also in a crescent shape, creating numerous crescent blades, basically slashing at Stain. First form, Dark Moon Evening Palace. Izuku more or less completely slashes into Stain, but doesn't kill him by any means. Stain is hurt but not dead, but Stain is impressed. He says that the kid that's in front of him now is definitely someone interesting, someone that has been training in, well, swordsmanship all his life, obviously. But kid, the thing you forget is that I'm a villain, or, well, that's what everyone thinks, and I don't play by the rules. Stain quickly throws small daggers at his feet and cuts Izuku slightly and licks his blood. Izuku now down. He cannot move and he might be out. He's sitting there and in shock. He can't move one muscle. He tries to even use recovery breathing to maybe neutralize what is happening, but he can tell that even with recovery breathing, it's not gonna fully work. It's not gonna put him, well, through this quirk that Stain is using. Stain looks at Izuku and puts the blade to his neck and smiles. It'd be such a waste to kill you. Frankly, I don't want to kill you. So I'm gonna kill your friend here, or whatever he is to you, and I'll give you the choice. Stain walks over to Ida and he's about to stab him, but a blast of fire comes out of nowhere, and Shoto Todoroki arrives. It seems that Shoto knew that this was happening, but Izuku doesn't know anything, doesn't know these people, frankly doesn't know Ida either. He just was coincidentally involved with him. Shoto even asks what's going on, and Izuku explains to him and also introduces himself. He says that he doesn't know him, but he knows of him, a Todoroki, the son of Endeavor. You know, your friend here put us in a hole, a really deep one. Shoto shakes his head and tells Ida to hurry up and recover, and tells Izuku the same as he tries to hold off Stain. Izuku, continuously using recovery breathing, eventually pushes past the quirk that is activated upon him and then waits for an opening. Right when Stain jumps up to attack Todoroki, he begins using another form. Moon breathing, second form, pearl flower moon gazing. Izuku then slices like crazy, several crescent-shaped slashes that more or less defend him from any attack that Stain is trying to hit Todoroki with, but then also sending a barrage of crescent-shaped blades right back at him. These hits, Stain takes the brunt of them. The fact that Stain didn't expect Izuku to recover as quickly as he did, and the fact that Todoroki is currently shooting fire at him right now, taking the entire hit of all the blades and also the fire attack, putting him out cold. Luckily, not too long after this, they're able to tie him up with some rope they found and also get Ida up and out of there. Endeavor and the rest of the heroes then finally arrive, and Izuku goes back to Manual and apologizes for running off like that. It was really time sensitive, it was do or die, and frankly, he'd rather not let anybody die. Manual is impressed. He says that he didn't expect this coming from someone from a hero school that is so unknown like the one he came from. And Izuku says that he's been training all his life and that he had to start from the bottom and hopefully he can work his way up to the top. And Manual smiles and says that he'll make sure that he gets up there, that Izuku has proven more than enough to get to that point. They'll keep this under wraps, but Manual explained that he'll put in a good word via other ways. And Izuku smiles and thanks him. And Manual says, no, thank you. Without you, Ida would have been dead. And frankly, it would have been Manual's fault. But that's beyond the point. Everything is cleaned up in Hosu City. Stain is then sent away. And finally, Izuku is gonna get the recognition he feels he deserves and he's been working for. But his training isn't over. He doesn't believe it will ever be over. He continues it. He wants to work harder and harder. And that's what he does. He works on his breathing forms, learning more and more breathing forms, just like how Kokoshiba wanted. Of course, there's going to be the limitations on these breathing forms because he is no demon, but he's going to be able to, show what he got in terms of, his raw output, even with just 3 breathing forms. And now that he's getting a couple more, he's going to get stronger and stronger in terms of his fight style. And after a couple more days of just going to his regular school, he gets a message from Nezu, Principal Nezu of UA, and he begins to explain that he saw that Izuku actually tried out for UA but wasn't close to getting in, and Manual says that he's made insane progress, actually progress to the point that he probably outmatches most of the people at UA. Izuku says that he doesn't know that for sure yet, and he would hope so, but he still has a long way to go. After some more conversations with Nezu, he actually gets a word in, and Izuku is allowed to go to UA. He's actually gonna be admitted into either Class 1A or Class 1B. They're not exactly sure yet, but Izuku believes that he shouldn't be in Class 1A. And when Aizawa and Vlad King hear this, they're completely shocked. Why would anybody give up the idea of trying to get into Class 1A? But Izuku explains that he's basically made his way up from the lowest tier of high school. Well, any school that is not UA is probably lackluster, but he was at a school that nobody really cared. All of the people there were going to be and destined to be low tier heroes, and he believes that if Class 1B is for the quote unquote weaker of the students, he wants to go there because he's always been able to prove that he'll be strong enough and ready when needed. So he wants to prove that in Class 1B. And Aizawa smirks at this and says that Vlad King got a lucky one, or a good one, because this one would have been in 1A. Aizawa tells him good luck and that they'll be obviously working together soon anyways, and Izuku nods, eventually leading to him meeting with Class 1A, and actually the final exams are upon them. Izuku doesn't actually have to participate in them because he's already taken some tests and other things like that, and they've tested him already, so they actually just consider that to be his entrance exam. And they're not telling him this, but they did hear about the fight with the hero killer, and frankly, if you're fighting the hero killer on your own, well, you'll be alright. So they decide that they're gonna just use that as his final exam, and well, that's gonna put us right to the forest training arc, or the forest training camp. Izuku obviously is getting to know Class 1B the best he possibly can, and this leads them to, well, arriving at the camp, and well, this is where the real training begins. The training that Izuku has been seeking for a long time will now bring him to this. How will Izuku fare against the, well, stars of UA? How will he compare to these future heroes? And will he be strong enough to keep up? Or will he even be overwhelmed at the prospect of working with these people? We don't know, but we'll have to see in the next part. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, sub, and comment down below any future suggestions and suggestions for this what if. And also, yeah, I hope all y'all have an amazing day, and I hope, well, y'all enjoyed like I said. And that's about it. Peace.